Four games, four wins. Arsenal are top of the league. What a difference a year makes. In this expanded podcast, I'm joined by ex scout Ehab, Seebs from the Arsenal Independent Supporters Association, and Blackburn George, the arseblagger. And we discuss and debate how good is this Arsenal squad? Can this team go the distance? Stay tuned for more. Football fans, Gooners, welcome to the post Fulham edition of the Positively Uncensored podcast. And I've got a very special guest who's been wanting to come on, but we couldn't organize it. Seebs, welcome, my friend. You
Right.
have been away for a long time.
I have, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to have to make it. You've invited me several times, and I've missed several ones. I apologise now. So
I am the apologies because I need your wisdom here. And as usual, Blackburn George, say hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
Good. This is Northern Soul Day, and the mighty ex-scout, Ehab, I got to give you your title. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I'm okay, man. How you doing, guys?
I am fine. Had a little technical issues before, but I'm so happy we are together. So we defeated the mighty Fulham 2-1 in the sunshine of the Emirates. There's not a cloud in sight. I thought we fought back well from 2-1 down. And we are at top of the league. All is well. Everybody's on the sunshine bus. Ehab, you and I had a little chit-chat before. How is it going in Arsenal land for you?
Well, for me, it's going well. We talked about it. Just gonna gather as many points as possible, and we're doing this. At least if we have a dip, or we have injuries, or we have fatigue, and we go on a bad run, we still in the hunt for top four. We don't put ourselves out of it. I mean, last year we missed top four by a point, and we dropped the first three games. Just and in January we had another bad run. So we cannot afford to have two bad runs in the same season and make top four. So it's good that we are gaining some ground right now. We are making some points. Putting together some points, and everybody else is still figuring it out. City haven't been convincing, believe it or not, apart from one game. Liverpool have struggled in two of the four games. They're still, trying to figure things out without Mane and with the new additions. And Chelsea, although they're winning, there's something going on with those people. Thomas Tuchel always relied on fullbacks, and today now he has a new one in Cucurella, and it's gonna need some time to put him in his system. In the system, he said goodbye to two attackers in Lukaku this Timo Werner. And, things have changed in Chelsea a lot, and the club has been sold. It used to have a certain owner, a certain GM, and now everything's gone. And you have new owners. You don't know the philosophy. You don't know how stable it's going to be. So far so good. I mean, I like where we are right now. We have to continue to make best of our time and make of our opportunity and take the opportunity. Unlike last year when it was handed to us and we just kicked it out. It's good. It's good. Well, this is what we should be doing.
Seems it's looking good according to Ehab. What a difference a year makes? About this time last year, we were 3 down. You were saying you didn't think we were as bad as it seems. This year, you said in the Positively Arsenal blog on many occasions, and I think occasionally on Twitter, that you expected 5 wins on the bounce
Yeah.
prior to the Manchester United game. How is it
Yeah.
looking for you, Seebs?
Well, last year, first game of the season is away from home is always difficult. You never know what happens. It's a roller coaster a lot of the time. Then we were playing an excellent Chelsea side and an excellent Manchester City side. So losing those first 3 games wasn't, uh, it was disappointing, especially the way we played, but it wasn't, out of this world. We then went to Burnley and Norwich and won, but we were awful in them games. And I think this time round, we were very stable pre-season. We had a very good pre-season. We played Crystal Palace, who wasn't ready to start the season,
Yes.
and we scraped past them. And we played Bournemouth, and the result looked good until this week when you see that they've been smacked 9-0. They've got off of nothing up front at all.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of going and scoring goals against them. And yesterday we were playing. Arsenal always play well in the sunshine at home. Historically, we always play well in the sunshine at home. We were playing a team that's just been promoted, that will finish in the bottom half of the table. And although, yes, one of the big things we've said about this Mikel's teams is that they very rarely come back. So the fact that we come back was fantastic, but the fact that we had to come back and our overall, you can't say that we played well yesterday. We just didn't. So I think and with the Villa game as well, we will have 5 lucky fixtures. So I think you have to sort of take a bit of balance there. I always say that it's like running on an athletics track, and you have to work out the bends. And at the moment we're on the straight, but when the bend comes and it all levels out and everything, and we start playing the harder teams and other teams play easy teams, we'll see where we are there. At the moment, I think it's impossible to judge. I expected to win all 5. If we hadn't have done, I said we were below par, and yesterday was worrying, very worrying. So yeah.
George, are you worried? Are George, you and I are taking pelters on Twitter for asking any questions of His Holiness and His Mightiness. But yeah, are you concerned at all?
No, I'm concerned about the fan base getting overexcited. I mean, fucking hell. It's like we're living in a parallel universe where we beat teams that, I mean, even Leicester haven't won a fucking game yet.
Yes.
We couldn't have started with an easier fixture list. But we've won them, and we've played okay in a couple of the games, and I think we've not done so good in a couple of games, but we've managed to win, which is an improvement. And I don't think you can question it as an improvement. But as I said every week up to now, for me, the improvement is quite simple to analyse. Shevchenko, Jesus, and Saliba are better than what we had. So therefore, the team's better. I mean, there's some worrying things for me. Saka's not played well for a long, long time. Martinelli's end product is not so good, to say the least. But suddenly, people are talking about us being title contenders, and I just don't get it. There's no realistic way. People aren't prepared to look at it realistically. I'm glad that everybody's happy. Great. We all were happy. We all want to. You can't complain about 4 wins But you can complain about some of the way we've played some of the time, and when the European games kick in and we start playing better teams, we'll see where we are. I'm prepared to give the team the benefit of the doubt and say we've improved and we can challenge for top four because we might, and I hope we do. But until we get further into the season and play some teams that can actually play football uh, in some difficult moments, I don't see how you can get overexcited. It's like last season, we lost the first three games and we were told that didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything. But now suddenly win the first three games and it means everything. Where's the consistency there? If it didn't mean anything last season, it doesn't mean anything this season either. So let's see where we are after 10, 15 games. And the excitement's died down of getting Jesus and Shevchenko. And we'll see where we are. All we can do is hope for the best.
Yes.
But there's no evidence to say that we're a top team. Not looking at how we've played up until this point, that doesn't tell me we're a top team. When you're talking about Manchester City, Liverpool, or even Chelsea, I don't see us being in that group.
Ehab, I think are you agreeing with both George and Ehab? Last year we went out for our first victory. We had to fire in 25 crosses. we finally got one in. You remember? And all the guard was just
Yeah.
white players are just flinging them in. But this time we are far more fluent. And let's be honest. We are far more fluent. But there was something about the game yesterday, and you mentioned it. Gabriel Jesus could not get off a good shot. Did you notice that? What is it that these teams are beginning to work out about us?
Yeah, this is what we talked about. Is that they are going a big part of moving the ball down the middle for us is dropping Gabriel Jesus to an area where he can get the ball, and having everybody run behind him, even Chaka. Chaka will
Yes.
support him, but at the end he's gonna attack with him. Now this is the issue that we are facing here. Is once teams start identifying this. Yesterday, fifth minute, sixth minute, Gabriel Jesus first touch in the middle of Fulham's half. Some defender comes from the back and tackles him. Puts him on the ground, and this goes on and on and on. And I'm gonna be um just give credit where credit is due, because Mikel made a couple of changes in the second half that were interesting, that were really like with the way he handled Jesus. He allowed Saka to carry the ball more, like we did last year, and he didn't allow Gabriel to drop back as much as he Gabriel Jesus, like as the first two games. Now, this is, and I think if we listen to Wenger for the past 20 years, it makes you smarter about football. And Wenger always said, it's not about uh, being on a winning streak. 49 undefeated. This doesn't mean I'm a good manager. Your management kicks in when you lost three in a row. You have five injured players, and all the media is freaking out, and people are booing in the stands, and you have to adjust. This is when your management expertise kicks in. The adjustment, how to adjust everything, how to change everything. This is how it goes, and this is what I wanted. This is where Arteta is gonna suffer. Where this is where it's gonna go weird for him, because he's not used to this. Now everything is working okay. They're gonna attack this Jesus. They're not gonna allow him to attack as much. He's gonna have a couple of injuries like yesterday. Zinchenko didn't play, and he had to adjust to like a 3-4-3 in some phases of the game. Um, so that's why we struggled. People will come out with all kinds of excuses. I've tweeted that it's tweeted something about Party being the glue that holds this team together, and he's the guy who gets this team win. And I'm sure there's like at least 100,000 people out there who's gonna bite on that or agree on that. But this is not it. It's not it. It's the first team who watches video of our first four games, and they decide, okay, to stop them, you have to stop Gabriel Jesus. Don't let him turn with the ball. Don't let an attacker run back with him. Somebody like I don't know. I think Newcastle was losing when I was before I came on, but somebody like Eddie Howe or Graham Potter or Klopp, he's gonna have somebody just denying Jesus the ball all the time, and we are going to look a little bit lost. So what you gonna do then? This is the adjustment that you have to make, and this is where we're gonna struggle. This is where we're gonna risk top four. We didn't play badly last night. Yesterday, it wasn't bad at all. But all the players. But 80, 70, 80% is the players. They did so much, and the like for if you look at the two goals, Saka's run was amazing. He laid it off to Odegaard, who actually had a good shot, and it was a deflection that fooled Leno, who had a great game, by the way. He doesn't deserve to concede two goals, but it's just he came across a team that's much stronger than him, and that's the second game is just a set piece where they actually crowded Leno, and they were talking about the foul on Saliba, but it never gets called. And this is it. This is what's going on. The players individually have done that. And if I want to make everybody angry, I'm gonna say Arteta now is in a Mourinho phase where he has bought enough players to win it for him when he can't. You know, and
Thank you for that, Ehab. I thought that the team, at least the first 11, even down to the 13, this is a this is a great set of individuals. Don't Ehab? I'm coming to Seebs. Seebs, great set of individuals. In fact, as George said, much better. Not say much better, but better than last year. I mean, the composure of Saliba. By the way El Nene ran, the sole defensive midfielder, and he was not even mentioned by the commentators. And then Odegaard has improved. This is a great set of 11 starters. So what it is that but there is something that concerns us. And Seems you want to put your finger on it because I think you have an insight. You're
Well,
muted.
The basic thing is football is a team game, not a game of individual. Sorry. Go on to George.
Get back to your old position. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you. Keep going. You're saying it's a team game. You're muted. You're muted, Seebs. Hang on, Seebs. Get yourself act together, George. Yes, you've a great team, George. Let see. He looks like he's back on. Seebs, go ahead.
Sorry. So football's team game. Everybody knows that it's not a game of individuals. There's a few individual brilliance every now and again, but it doesn't matter. You've still got to have a coaching team. You've still got to manage those. You've still got to change the tactics halfway through the game and everything. And the crowd will still pick individual players that they think are fantastic. I think Saliba is a very good young individual. I don't think he's I don't think he's played out of this world this season. I think he's played well, but not out of this world. I'm not on board with this Saliba wank fest that's on at the moment. And as we go on to your scores later on, I think he's being scored over the top every time. He's making mistakes in every game, the same as everybody else. Odegaard is very much he represents Arsenal at the moment. He played 3 absolutely sublime balls, long balls yesterday.
Yes.
But he made the wrong decision several times. A couple of times he was trying to play the ball through, like Ehab said, through the middle when there was just too many players. It was a wall of players. It was the wrong decision. He shot in the second half when Saka was absolutely in oceans of space. Could have had a cup of tea before he shot, and he didn't play it to him. He underhit a couple of passes, overhit a couple of passes. So I didn't think Odegaard was wonderful. I thought he played some wonderful balls. And so, and I think that's a bit like Arsenal at the moment. We are sublime in patches, but we're still doing a lot of things wrong. And people are saying, oh, yes, Saliba is brilliant. And, Jesus is brilliant. And Odegaard is brilliant. And even Shevchenko, I mean, he's the best buy, actually, as far as I'm concerned. He's the one.
Really?
I mean, we only had 2 injuries yesterday. And if we do that for the rest of the season, then we'll be lucky. That's bang on. You're going to get that every game anyway, too. The goal was down to Shevchenko anyway. It was his fault because what happened was, if you watch it, Kieran Tierney took up the Shevchenko midfield role when Gabriel received the ball. He went to take up that role, and Gabriel didn't have the confidence to play it to him. If it was Shevchenko there, he would have played it to him. The other thing was, because Xhaka wasn't ready, didn't realise that that's what he was good. That's what Tierney was going to do, and I don't know what the setup was supposed to be. Because normally Tierney would hug the touchline and receive the ball there,
Right.
but so Xhaka was still in the middle to receive the ball in the middle as well. He started see what Tierney had done and started to go to the touchline, but it was too late, and he'd lost the ball. So that whole scenario was because we've got a much better player who we're comfortable with passing when he's got a player on his back. And then I think, not sure, but I think they've asked Tierney to do the same. And Gabriel wasn't confident in playing him the ball. And I think that's what's happened. So, we have got a better squad. We've got better players. But your coaching is still going to influence all those different players and how we play and everything like that. I still think Mikel made some mistakes. I think that we overplayed yesterday. We were overconfident, and we just made so many wrong decisions. Every time we got in the last third of the field, really, basically, every time we got in a good position, where the shot was on, we passed. Where the pass was on, we shot. And that one went on. And the two Fulham fullbacks were brilliant. They had Saka and Martinelli sewed up, and they didn't double up. They were on their own, and they've done that job on their own. And when that happens, you've got to go central then wide. So you hit centrally, then the wingers run, then you go wide, then you come back in, and you've got to have players in the box so that you hit near post, penalty spot, far post. So you're giving options, and then you'll do it. The other thing I was surprised about, considering we have so much success with a set piece coach, was we know Leno flaps.
Yes,
we did so.
I thought he flapped at that corner. By the way,
and it was going to happen eventually. But we put so many corners in short. The only 2 corners that went in to him, and he did catch, was ones where nobody was in front of him, and Nobody challenged for the ball. He caught both balls. So we know that. We've seen it over the last couple of years. So we've got a really good set piece coach. We didn't work on it. We went short corners, which is completely opposite. So there again, you can have the best individuals in the world. If your tactics are wrong, even against the side that's just come up and has only got one decent striker, who was a good decent striker, by the way. He's a great header of the ball, and even when he's getting fouled, he gets his head on the ball and he makes sure it's headed well. You know what I mean? He's Mitrovic. He's a great player, but if he's on his own with three tall centre backs that we've got at the back there, we should have been out of cope with him, really. So yeah, so bits were good, but the other thing I've got to say is Odegaard didn't change the match, so I wouldn't give him man of the match. The person who changed it was Eddie. Like I say, he beat the fullbacks that Saka and Martinelli couldn't beat all game. He beat them both on the left side, the right side, and down the centre. He got in down the centre, behind the centre backs in the 25 minutes that he was on. So he was man of the match. He's the one who won us the game. If he didn't come on, we wouldn't have got the 2 goals. And I know he didn't score them, but he was the difference, basically. So,
George,
yeah, sorry about that.
No, that I'm afraid to put up my player ratings. but George, where you want to take away? What do you want to take from Seebs? He's the first man to critically analyze our analysis from week to week, and he's usually right. What do you take from him? What you spoke of the good things about the team, and Seebs are saying there are some bad things. What do you want to take away?
Well, first thing I take away is what a miserable cunt.
Well, that's exactly what Twitter is going to say about him.
Fucking hell. You're a fucking tough crowd. I wouldn't like to be doing an open mic in front of you. All my jokes would bomb, that's for sure. Oh, where to start?
People like you more, George.
He's a member of Arsenal Independent. What's it again, Seebs?
Arsenal Independent Supporters Association.
Come on.
Another shower of miserable cunts.
Yeah. And the Arsenal history.
What is? I agree to an extent. I did think that Eddie was more effective than Martinelli and Saka when he came on. I do think Odegaard was man of the match. Still, I think he stepped it up and he drove us forward. But there's weaknesses. We're not. But as I said earlier on, if you're comparing us to City and Liverpool, we're going to come out unfavourably. But we are better than what we were. I think we will win 5 games on the bounce. I think we could even win 8 when I look at the fixture list, depending on how much Manchester United pick up. We could win our first 8 games. This was absolutely unimaginable 12 months ago.
Yes.
Unimaginable. You couldn't have picked fucking 5 games last season and thought we'll win those 5. There just wasn't 5 that you could pick. And now there is. Now you're feeling confident because we're playing better. We've got better players and we're playing better. We're going in the right direction. And my opinion. I think he's all PR. He's all furnicers. But anyway, I'm still going to look on the positive side. We're doing what we can, and I want to see where we are in 10 or 15 games before I start criticising anybody too much or praising anybody too much. But at the moment, I'm happy to pick up 3 points every week, despite the fact that we're playing teams that we really have to be beating to call ourselves a decent team. Never mind a great team.
On that
Let's
note,
play
guys,
a decent team
let's have a little look at the Shotta's unscientific shit. I have Bolton Arsenal. Oh, guys, forgive me. That's copy and paste. What the hell is this? No, this is wrong. Okay, the only thing that's wrong here is Bolton Arsenal. I didn't change the heading. Copy and paste. Imagine it's Arsenal Fulham. I highlighted Saliba and Odegaard. And I know that Seebs is saying that I overrated them, overrated suggesting I overrated Saliba, but I thought that when we went to three at the back, he was commanding. I thought that if it was Gabriel playing three at the back, we would have been in a lot of trouble. And I thought that that's and in general where he stepped up. There's a way that's what we imagined Ben White would be stepping up and beating players and laying off decent passes, and that is why I gave him my 8.5 seeds. Odegaard, I thought he covered himself in glory. Many of you know that I was not very enthusiastic, but he has come a long way, and I gave Eddie a 7.5 because he did exactly what Seebs said. But I'm going to give you first dibs at this. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to give all you guys a chance to have a say about the players. Starting with you here, Ehab.
I mostly agree with it. It was a good game. Everybody actually played well. They didn't play badly. But the thing is, as I said, the we got a couple of unlucky bounces. We are running into the middle when the middle was covered. So it looked like they are playing too hard to not do the same good things that they always do. Like the result wasn't going to be the same because like this is my favorite Alex Ferguson saying. It's that in football everything complicated by the presence of the other team, because we could play the best we can, but there's another team is gonna counter that, and they just this is what they did, and we ran into them. Ramsdale, I believe, for me was the man of the match. We would have easily lost the game without him.
You think?
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm sorry. It's the because he came up with three huge saves when we needed him, and they're huge saves. They're not easy. And I mean, on the other side, Leno was having the game of his life, but it's somehow kind of outstaged him. Um, I think Odegaard is good. Odegaard played well. Saka didn't play badly. And Nenny was good. Chaka was his usual self, of course, in his new role. It's been, they played well. I don't hate what I couldn't pick a player to say he played badly. Even Gabriel with the boneheaded mistake.
Yes.
You could have. I mean, even if you don't have anybody to play it to, you just kick it out of bounds. You see it every game. A defender gets pressured, then he kicks it out of bounds. And I think Eddie was huge. I think Eddie could have had a couple of goals yesterday had he been lucky enough, or if Leno had a very good save against him, and there was this lob that Odegaard played to him, and Eddie has still have got to learn this, just to turn his body when the
Right.
ball is coming to him in the air. He does it when it's coming on ground, and he has impeccable footwork, so he can manage on the ground. But when it's coming in the air, um, Van Persie used to be the same when he was
Yes.
22. He had the same problems when he was 22. But, he worked on it somehow. And by the time he's 27, 28, he was the best striker in the world, basically. So, you don't know. I mean, we have to continue to develop him. I agree with most of it. To be honest, I think Ramsdale deserves better than 7.5. We gave him a couple of really good saves to make, and he made it. at the right time. This is what De Gea used to do for United when they used to play under Louis van Gaal, and they used to be bad all game. And he would come with a couple of huge saves, then they would score a goal and they would win the game, and they think they won it or the manager won it. They didn't. De Gea won it for them. They could have had Messi and Ronaldo on this 2015, 2016, 17 teams. They could have had Messi, Ronaldo, Pelé, and Maradona, and if they traded De Gea, they would have finished 12th. It's yeah. So I like when the goalkeeper does something like that. He gives you a chance to go out and win it, and he did that, and he should good for me. He was the important part yesterday. Eddie too came and he had the energy when everybody was tired, and he could score. He has something above the rest of them that he could score. He could, there's an argument to be made that he's the best scorer in the team. He's the England under 21 leader all time scoring leader. I think he had more goals in the under 21 tournament than anyone ever, including Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer and anybody. And he's that's why this is an aspect of the game that you have to cover, that you have to account for, that you do not account for with others. Like George said, Martinelli is a great attacker, but his finishing is still to catch up with the. He's still some inaccuracies in it, and you have to watch out for that. Eddie, if you give him a chance, he's gonna score. So they had to defend against that too.
Seebs, I'm
Let's
feeling guilty about. I'm feeling guilty about. I'm feeling very guilty about Eddie. I know Eddie is one of Ehab's favorite players, and every week he makes Ehab look like a real like a practicing scout. He's inactive now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Ehab, you have sized them up and said there's a lot of room for improvement. There's room for growth. What they're now saying again, he's upper level or whatever that phrase that everybody likes to use. But Seems, I got the heading corrected by the way. What do you think?
yeah. I mean, 100% agree with Eddie. He's one of my favourite players. Um, like horrible to say, but I think he possibly should have left. But we'll see that in the future. Um, whether he's done the right thing, because at the start of this season, Arteta's still not playing him as much as he should be. Uh, he put him on early, the earliest he's ever put him on, I think, yesterday, and that was a reaction to going
Mhm,
1-0 down.
mhm.
Um, so at least he's doing that. At least he'll get minutes. If we go 1-0 down, if we go 3-0 up, I'm not sure how many minutes he'll get, probably just the 8 or 9. Um, yeah, I've followed Eddie. I've seen him since he was very young,
Yeah.
and he,
Mhm.
he scores goals at every England youth level. Uh, yeah, he's brilliant. He's an onion bag striker, as they used to say. And he definitely changed the game yesterday. So I totally agree. I love Eddie and would mark him highly. Um, yeah, you need your keepers. The difference between, like, Leno was a good shot stopper. We always knew that,
Right.
but but Ramsdale's just that stage ahead. He can make an absolute difference. He'll have your standard good goalkeeper game, but he will make those absolutely. If you've not faced a shot all game, and then the other team get a shot in, he will still make that save, and that proved in the last couple of minutes again.
Yes.
He did
Yes.
it. The back line was absolutely caught out. We just stood there like statues, um, and which is criminal at the last 5 minutes in a game. And yeah, to make that save, they're saying it's not a hard save to make, but he was at full stretch and he got
Yes.
there and he made the save. Yes, he should have had a higher mark. The other thing, I was surprised you marked Ben White down. This is what I was saying about players who are popular and who are not. Saliba is very popular at the moment, and you've marked him highly. Ben White, I would have said would have had a better game than Gabriel, and he got a lower mark than Gabriel. So that's a difficult one, that 7.25. I didn't think he was the worst player in the team. And when we went to a back three, I think he'd done his job. I think he'd done it. He's not a right back, so he's not going to fly up and down the right wing. And the rest of the season, we've been concentrating on the left side anyway. So he's been more of a stabilising player. So, yeah, I mean, all those three centre-backs, if you wanted to mark Gabriel down for the mistake, maybe. But otherwise, if you give him a flat 8 across the board, that would have been fair. I didn't think Tierney did a lot wrong. Like, Ehab's right. Everybody played well, to be honest. Everybody played well. So, yeah, difficult. But the difficulty is we always make these marks full time after the result. Had we not got back, had it been 1-1 or lost 1-0, most of the game the players would have played exactly the same. What would we have marked them then? And I think sometimes you have to have a look at that. So don't mark popular players and always give them good marks, because I think Saliba's got an 8.5 every game so far, and I don't think he's played an 8.5 game every game. He's a great player. He's a great prospect, and I think he will become a great player, and then he'll go to Paris Saint-Germain, probably. George is right. I'm miserable. I am miserable. No, hopefully he's enjoying himself and he'll stay with us. So I don't like it when some players overhype because of their popularity, and when a player's not quite so popular, because of Kieran Tierney might have played the same game 2 seasons ago, and because he was popular, he would have got an 8. And now we all know that we've got a better left back there. He's now not getting to the floor. So, like I say, we have to try and think about how we're going to score players before the final whistle, before the result. So take that out of the equation and take the popularity out of the equation. But overall, I think Ehab is right that the players played well. If you're talking about team management and 8 from Mikel Arteta, well, I don't think he set up initially well. I think we were going stale quite earlier before they scored. I mean, so should he have changed it earlier? Maybe so. Maybe Ehab will give you more on that. But he reacted rather than change things earlier, and so I'm not sold on the changes. You know, we won out of grit, which was great, much better than a year ago when we would have probably lost the game. But at the end of the day, Fulham won't come above 10th. Their best position Fulham can get is probably 11th, and we were at home in the sunshine with a great crowd behind us. So I would have expected us to be better as a team. And so you have to put that down to the manager sometimes.
Seebs, good points.
Okay.
Especially the points about Eddie. I think George is George has you pegged out. You think about Mikel Arteta. Would he have?
Hang on a minute.
Hold on, George. Would Mikel Arteta have made a change at 61st minute last year? That's why I thought he made a tactical decision that was very good.
That was because they scored, though. Because they scored. If they'd have scored in the 89th minute, would you put Eddie on earlier, or would you put Eddie on in the 81st minute? And this is what you have to ask yourself:
Yes.
It's a reactionary change. Had it been 0-0, would he have changed the
Shape.
tactics on the pitch, the shape, a couple of times, or would you put any subs on earlier? And I mean, up till now, the facts are no, he doesn't. He doesn't put subs on till the 75th minute. So there again, that's my concern. I'll shut up now. So
Georgia Solomonic wisdom, my friend. Come on, tell us what is your take on this.
Right. Well, there's a few things for me to go out there. I think, first of all, what Seebs was saying is that your ratings are a load of bollocks, Shotta.
That's right. I agree.
You're a fucking, you're a full-time rater. You're rating them on the result rather than how well they played.
Yeah.
And I'd have to agree with him that I think these are an absolute load of bollocks this week. So
okay.
put them up again. And let me say, first of all, I'm a bit confused here. Ehab and Seebs are saying all the players played well, yet we weren't very good. So how does that work? If all the players played well, surely we should have played well. And we didn't. So they didn't all play well. Now, I would say that on an average game, let's say you have an average decent game, that should be a 7. So you start from there. So put your numbers up.
I'm going to put them up, George. If I can just find them. Yes. Here they go.
Okay. Aaron Ramsdale, 7. Because he didn't make any saves for me, him or Leno, that they shouldn't have made. I don't think that either of them made outstanding saves. They saved what they should save. So he had an average game. Ben White, 7. He had an average game at best. Saliba, I think he had an above average game, 8. Gabriel, well, his fuck up made it less than an average game. He should be on a 6. Kieran Tierney, ineffective, trying to play like Shevchenko, moving infield. Not his fault, but he was doing what he was told. But even so, he was ineffective. I'll give him a 6 as well. El Neni played so conservatively, did nothing wrong, but did nothing much right either, other than keep the ball. So 7 for him, average game. Granit Xhaka, yeah, as usual, above average, 8. Saka, for me, didn't have a good game at all, 6. Martin Odegaard, above average, 8. Gabriel Martinelli, below average, 6. And Jesus, average game, 7. So that's how I saw it. And just because we win, as Seebs says, doesn't move everybody up a number. Do you know what I mean? If we know us, I look at it every week. You look in the papers at these player ratings. The team that wins, they're all on 7s and 8s, and the team that loses, they're all on 4s and 5s. And there's been fuck all between the two teams. In fact, the better team might have lost, but the scores at the end of the day they're reflected in the player ratings, which is absolute fucking nonsense. How the game turns out shouldn't affect the player ratings. I 100% agree with Seebs on that point. We should be rating them as they played, and we shouldn't be afraid to say somebody had a fucking bad game. For me, Martinelli, Saka, or Tierney were below standard that you would expect from them. They didn't produce enough. And if they had, we'd have won that game comfortably, because Fulham won't come 11th at best. Fulham will come fucking 5th, 16th at best. They're not a good team. They're not. They're a fucking shocking team, really. Premier League. Fulham are a good team. They got a draw at Liverpool. Fucking United beat Liverpool. You know, they didn't make them a fucking United a top team either. Liverpool was shite on those 2 occasions. We saw Liverpool yesterday. They scored 8. They scored 9. That's the proper Liverpool. And that's, for me, that's where Fulham will come. They'll be lucky to escape relegation. So, not impressed.
George, both you and Seebs are onto something, because most of this player ratings was post game, and you're right. And that's a criticism I have had of the ratings, by the way, and I think I've fallen in the trap. But the whole point is just trying to get, well, my own goal is to try to get some discussion rather than us nattering on forever. Guys, talk about nattering forever. We've gone nearly 50 minutes. Final words, just right around the table. I Ehab, you starting with you. Final words.
Well, the big takeaway is the points, the points and the win. It's a this is a teachable moment for the manager. He's gonna learn to adjust. I like that he went to a three at the back and then he inserted Eddie. He's a little bit flexible. I like that. I like that he's willing to learn. End of the day, and I'm gonna say this again. I don't expect us to make top four. Um, if he keeps trying to throw to attack and try to overwhelm teams and try to learn himself how to adjust and how to change things, I'm good with this season. I'm 100% okay with it. It means that maybe next season we're gonna be a title contender or whatever, but because uh, the manager has been the only thing holding back the team for the past 5 years, and it's just instead of pushing him forward, they're pulling them back. On paper, the team always looked good enough to be top four. It looked much better than sixth, eighth, and fifth. Our teams looked much better than that. The money that we spent more than anybody in the last 5 years. So you'd expect that we do better. We're not a big spending team. We are not the highest revenue in the world. We are not even half of what Manchester United does. So we spend way beyond our means just to make a good team. Uh, and finally, and now, if the manager is catching up, and he's gonna be at least a neutral effect on the team, I'm all for it. If he can push the team forward next season, you're gonna see what this team is capable of. It's capable of so much. When you can, we had two injured players, and we put up a good start in 11. uh, and we had Eddie. We On the bench. We had Pepe. We let him go.
We had
So we still we
Smith
still
Rowe.
have we
Smith Rowe
still
on the
we still
bench.
we still have a few good players on the bench. You know, it's a deep team. It's a good team. Uh, uh, I think we are at the point where a good manager would have you challenge for top two, and
Seebs,
and, and
Seebs,
we waited for 5 years. Two more is not, one more is not a big deal, and I like that he's learning.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Ehab. Trying to move it along because I'm final words. I'm trying to
Okay,
move it.
I'm done.
Yes. Yes, Seebs. Manager holding us back or whatever, or we can go forward. Final words. I don't want to
Uh,
put words in your mouth.
yeah, I mean, right. So the when the final whistle went yesterday, I was over the moon. I was absolutely over the moon, jumping around the room and all stuff like that. When I sat down and the longer it went away from the game, you started thinking about it, and that's when your feet are on the floor, you start getting reality. I still think the reality is there's only two positions we're going to finish this year, and that's fourth and fifth. One of those two. It's going to be nip and tuck, which one we get. Um, Chelsea will come stronger. United will be stronger. Tottenham will all come stronger in the second half of the season. Liverpool and City are out of our league at the moment. And next year they will be as well. We won't be challenging for the title next year. I can't see that at the moment. But definitely maybe fourth this year, like I say, fourth or fifth, and well, obviously, hopefully, definitely fourth next year. Um, I'm still not 100% sold on Mikel, whether I mean, I suppose he's making less mistakes, but the pair of them, you don't know. So I don't know. Just going back to one thing that George was saying earlier on about picking you couldn't put 5 fixtures together or maybe 8 fixtures together and be confident that they win. I think that is just the way the fixtures have felt. Uh, if you went through all the fixtures and said, I'll play this team, I'll play this team, I'll play this team, especially when those teams are not particularly on form, you could put 8 together that you would be confident that we'd win, especially now because we are definitely more stable. So there has been an improvement. But when you think about it, we didn't play well against a team that's like George says, will probably come about 15th at home in the sunshine with the backing of the crowd. Only 2 injuries. Everything was in our favour, sort of thing. So there's, it's good. At the moment, we're good, but it's not fantastic. So yeah, we need to keep that thing in the crowd. But yeah, I'm happy at the moment. Yeah.
George, final word.
Yeah, good. Came from behind. We won for another 3 points. That's it. I'm not getting excited. I'm definitely not getting on this super exciting fucking journey that some of our fans are going on because they're setting themselves up for a fall. So keep your own counsel and let's see where we are and further on down the line when we've played some teams that can actually play football.
Okay, fans, if you have stuck around with this great team, Ehab, Seebs, and George, like me, you've gotten a lot of wisdom. My player ratings are going to be certainly informed by a lot of what went on. Guys, I remember to like and subscribe. Remember, we say things that nobody wants to hear. That's true.
Nobody wants to hear anything we fucking say.
Exactly.
And I don't blame them either. I don't want to hear half of the stuff that I'm saying. Poor bastard giving up an hour of his time to fucking go on YouTube.
Right. But
can I just say something as well, Shots? If you are watching, comment. Add a comment.
Yes.
If you don't want to like and subscribe, tell us why you don't want to like and subscribe. Any input at all will help us give a better podcast.
Nice point, George. And by the way, guys, I will be off later this week. I won't be covering the Villa game, and hopefully post Manchester United, I'm hoping to do so. But that where I'm going, I hope they have good Wi-Fi. But my laptop will be coming with me and all of that good stuff. So we'll be around. Just might not be as regular as I should be. Like and subscribe and make a comment. Bastards that stick around for a whole hour. Thank you, Ehab. Thank you, Seebs. Thank you, George. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.